Good morning, second grade. Happy Monday. You actually don't have school today. So I think I put that on Edsby, and I think Ms. Brown sent a message last week that you guys don't have school today. So today is like just a teacher work day. So I thought it would be fun if I just read you guys a book today. And I said if you're looking for stuff to do, you can go get 30 minutes on iReady and read on my own. Okay? Just easy day, nothing really hard. Tomorrow we're going to switch into informational text, so some nonfiction, and we're going to learn about a different country. So we'll have to come back tomorrow to learn something, but today I thought I would read you guys One Giant Leap. So looking at the cover, it looks like this might be about space. I know James likes space, and this is a historical account of the first moon landing. July 20th, 1969, 70 miles up. The two spaceships, Eagle and Columbia, separated. They orbit in sight of each other one last time. Then the Eagle begins to descend to where no human has ever been, to the moon. The Eagle is like a gold-speckled bug falling out of the sky. Its odd-shaped body plastered with many boxes, its outer walls thinner than human skin. The spaceship's spiny legs poke out as it rides on its back. At 8,000 feet, it tilts and straightens. Its brakes descent, slowly drifts down through space. So you can see it starting to go down towards space. It kind of does look like a bug. The astronauts look out at last. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin. They stand upright, two small windows. Their eyes widen. Look, rushing up towards them, the moon. It's gray, it's brown, it's blue-edged. The billion-year-old landscape is cracked and scarred, its surface gouged and cratered and pitted with tiny holes, like a battlefield from some ancient war. And there they are, standing at two windows. The radio voice cracked from Earth, 240,000 miles away. Eagle Houston, you are go for landing. Armstrong tenses forward, feeling the seconds tick, aware that the fuel is sinking towards zero. Timing is everything. His gaze darts between nearby rows of switches and a strange world below. Dark ridges rise like forbidding walls. Spidery shadows creep in the rising sunlight. Boulders loom up as big as cars. He glances again at the flashing dial. Fuel running short. Where can he land? Oh, the fuel's running short. How are they going to get off the moon? Eagle, 90 seconds of descent fuel left. Oh, so maybe it's just fuel specialized for landing. Armstrong hears the warning. Now all he has ever learned is focused on this. Nothing matters but this exact moment. Aldrin, non-stop voice calls from an altitude numbers. 40 feet, 35 feet, 30. Down they move, down and down, fast enough to conserve precious fuel, slow enough to land somewhere safely, he hopes. The Eagle dips, hovers, zigs, zags, dances all over the dark shadow. The second tick towards eternity. Time stops. Clouds of moon dust swirl like blackening fog, almost terrifying blindness. And then, with only the slightest bump, the small craft touches down. Phew. Nice landing. The Eagle has landed. High overhead, Michael Collins listens, but he cannot see. They made it. They made it. The Columbia orbits and waits. Collins has waited a lifetime for this. Yet, for him, the waiting is not over. In Houston on Earth, hundreds in the control room break into wild cheers. The first humans on the moon. But in this other place, it is very quiet. It is the lunar morning on the Sea of Tranquility. Armstrong lets out another deep breath and turns. He raises his gloved hand and meets Aldrin's gloved hand halfway. We did it. We're here. gave each other a high five. Exploration time. Armstrong and Aldrin add still more to their spacesuits. There were new overshoes, heavier gloves, and a visor helmet to protect against the sunlight, and an oxygen-filled backpack thick as a sofa pillow. They pause to gaze out an endless, mysterious wasteland, whose distant hills are sharply outlined by the nearby stones. No water, no wind, no sound, no life at all. Unbelievable. The hatch opens. Armstrong, on all fours, crawls through in a small space. He awkwardly, in his moon cocoon, moves outside, on the narrow porch, where the ladder is attached to one landing leg. He climbs to the bottom rung and stops. A TV camera, placed in the Eagle's hatchway, is pointed down. Armstrong knows that back on Earth, hundreds and millions of people are watching. He jumps to the landing leg's round footpad and he holds on. He pauses and he points his foot and steps off. The surface is as fine as powdered charcoal. The treads of his boot leave a perfect crisp print in the dust. On the weatherless moon, it'll last for millions of years. His voice sounds staticky and far away. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. In orbit, Michael Collins listens and waits. Now it's Buzz Aldrin's turn. He climbs down, feeling full of goose pimples. Together, the astronauts go moonwalking, flexing their toes and ankles as they walk stiffly as they navigate inside the rigid balloon. But moving about is easier than expected. They twirl like a slow-motion tiptoe dancer. They jog, they kangaroo hop, and like two boys bouncing on a trampoline. Because of the moon's lesser gravity, they feel light as air. Armstrong checks the time. They must hurry. They have just 2 hours on this strange and beautiful world. They must use long metal tongs to collect rocks. Some are slippery with dust, some sparkle, some look tan or even purple. The rocks go into 2 large boxes that the scientists will open back on Earth. They try to plant the American flag, but underneath its surface is dust, and the moon is like steel. They jab the pole into the hard crust. They twist, they turn, they lean with all their might. At last, they're able to balance the staff, just barely. A rod across the top keeps the flag unfurled. Then click. Armstrong takes a picture of Aldrin saluting the flag. A surprise call comes from the president. For a priceless moment, all the people on this earth are truly one. A tightness rises in the throats of the astronauts, and they feel like they're part of something so much larger than themselves. Yet soon it is all over. They are inside again, and this world is not theirs. They are not their own. Streaks of dirt cover their spacesuits. The smell of moon dust hits them as they remove their helmets. They've been awake for 18 hours straight, but it feels like much more. Can they sleep now? Maybe. It's cold in the cramped Eagle, and Aldrin curls up on the floor. Armstrong lies in a hammock stretched across the room, exhausted. He looks up. Above him, there's an unshuttered porthole. The Earth stares down, a big blue eyeball, he thinks. He blinks back the bright blue light, and then he turns and tries to sleep. July 21st. Unease and uncertainty. This is the part they're most afraid of. This place where things can go terribly wrong. Armstrong and Aldrin stand quietly in the cockpit, lift off in 1 minute, and away from here, maybe. The Eagle will split into 2 parts. The upper half must fly up. The lower half will stay on the moon, a permanent monument. Will the engine light? Will it keep on burning? Will they try to ease their words, but there's no escape from this? No backing up, no doing it again, no second try. They know one thing only. Failure means death. The second hand winds down, now or never. Aldrin's voice cuts into awful stiffness. 3, 2, 1, descent. At first, a frightening pause. What's happening? Then bang, whoosh, zoom. It feels as if the floor was coming with them. The Eagle top half rises like a fast-moving elevator. The engine leaves a trail of wide white light, and the Eagle soared skyward, silently, faster and faster, 50 miles up, almost a mile a second. Aldrin glances sideways, nods and grins. Into moon orbit, on our way. Higher still, Michael Collins peers through his window, still waiting. Where are they? He scans the sky, and he only sees blackness. The Columbia has been circling now for over 20 hours. From the far side of the moon, Collins can't even radio back to the people on Earth. He squints through the piece again, and there, a tiny blinking light in the darkness. He locks his computer on the distant speck, tracking its approach. The Eagle keeps climbing and climbing, up and up, like a dance. Columbia leads, Eagle follows, all at a speed over 3,000 miles per hour. Then they fly in perfect formation, closer and closer. Collins punches hundreds of keystrokes to make the docking work. They touch, they connect. The capture latches snap shut. A small door opens in the tunnel, and look who's here. Armstrong and Aldrin come floating through. Look at them. So they had to make sure that the two spacecrafts could connect again so that they could both go down to Earth together. It's the final orbit around the moon. Can a photo capture the wonder of what they see? Not likely. Still, the astronauts hover beside the Columbia window, taking pictures. The spacecraft accelerates. It curls around the moon's far edge. It's flung free like the tail end of a skater in a game of crack the whip. It soars into emptiness, and the astronauts look back with a sad, happy feeling. Hours go by, but they can rest at last. They sleep, read, talk, play music. Sometimes they glimpse at the slowly receding moon. Was it all a dream? Were we even there? But mostly their eyes are fixed on another place, blue, white, light brown, and shining below them. They want that now, more than anything. A planet of oceans, rivers, of grass and green hills, a world of trees and family and friends. So it sounds like they just want to go home now. A place called Earth, fragile, beautiful home. And that was it. So then that's what they say. They think, well, that's what it looks like, Earth, when they are all the way up there. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed the story for today. I hope you have a really great Monday. And I know the weather looks like it's going to rain all day, so maybe read a book and color a picture. That seems like a good indoor activity. All right, I hope everyone has a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.